Pew, 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 pew. Tropical liberation, blow shit up, and accidentally murder civilians. The game. Faster than a bunch of white people can shout Viva la Revolucion, Rico Rodriguez tears through the rule of militant dictators like a warm knife through oppressive butter. But first, allow me to address your concern that Just Cause doesn't have a story worth talking about. While we did consider changing the title of this video to The Explosion You Never Knew, we ultimately realized that wasn't necessary. Because what if I told you that Just Cause is built upon the foundation of carefully crafted ideas so subtle that you had no idea how precisely they were pulling your strings? What if I told you that the recycled plot devices seen throughout the Just Cause series are more than just hollow vehicles for cheap action scenes? What if I told you that these subtle devices are the reason you giggle so giddily and gasp so amazedly during scenes that would otherwise be humanitarian disasters or at best necessary evils? The invisible techniques that keep you salivating in the face of violence border on ingenious and go well beyond "it's just a game, bro," so strap on your squirrel suits, tip your hat to Michael Bay, and roll your R's like a goddamn champion. Prepare to be liberated by the story you never knew. To keep things simple, let's start from where this all begins. Circa 2006, the first installment of Just Cause was released, garnering mixed reviews overall while receiving unanimous acclaim for its open-world, ridiculous, and imaginative gameplay. The plot, of course, did not receive the same love, being generally ignored and criticized for being too short. But I'm an open-minded fellow. Let's see what exactly we're dealing with here. The ever-exotic Rico Rodriguez is dropped on the Caribbean island of San Expedito by his generic agency called Agency in hopes of overthrowing dictator Salvador Mendoza, an all-around not that cool guy suspected to be hiding weapons of mass destruction. Rico teams up with fellow operatives and a struggling rebel group to overthrow Mendoza by any means necessary. There's also a drug cartel fighting for their own selfish purposes who act as an interesting ingredient in this mix. To give some background, Salvador Mendoza rose to power as a general in the San Expedito military when he used his army to forcibly take the capital. He promptly referred to the old rulers as vultures and erected at least one large statue of himself and sprinkled other self-masturbatory images everywhere throughout the island. Murals, pictures, advertisements. This dude was staring at everyone all the time, with his gaze of oppression and cream of mushroom soup advertisements. As mentioned, this psychopath narcissist is now suspected to have nuclear weapons. And so, in a shocking turn of events, Mendoza does indeed have a nuclear arsenal, triggering an epic ass whooping in the sky delivered by none other than Rico Rodriguez himself. Of course, this is only a rough summary. I skipped over the liberation of villages and building of camaraderie along the way. But you get the picture. So what did we learn here? Well, for starters, we learned that Mendoza is a narcissistic asshat and everyone who sides with him more or less falls into the same category. Not to mention he's a ruthless dictator who took power by force. This guy is hardly a poster child for democracy. This may seem obvious now, but let's look at Just Cause 2 before I tell you where I'm going with this. This lovely sequel to JC1 came to us in March of 2010 and once again brings us to yet another fictional tropical island ruled by yet another fictional terrible dictator. Oh god, I already hate him. I'd pay a lot of money to punch that face. This dictator's name is Pandak Baby Panay, who rose to power by killing his dad and prioritizing fossil fuel profits over feeding his starving people. He also proudly flaunts a justice system that imprisons citizens for basically nothing, overflowing his jails so much that he declares a national execution day to open up some room, killing everyone currently in jail. And he has a pet chameleon that sits on his shoulder. God, what a tryhard. Meanwhile, there's 3 cartels, once again working towards their own selfish goals to gain power on this fictional island, which I should tell you is called Panau. Had any of these guys taken power, it wouldn't have been much better than old Babyface. And so Rico pursues his mission to liberate the island, seemingly killing Panay until the dude pops up on a nuclear submarine and fires nukes at the US, China, Japan, and Russia. Unfortunately for Panay, he gets caught on one of the missiles, hurtling towards the US until Rico reprograms the targeting computer to explode the device over the Panau oil fields. It's important to note that the US, China, Russia, and Japan were all set to go to war over these oil fields, a conflict which would have killed hundreds of thousands, if not millions. So yeah, Rico spectacularly bamboozled his way through the oppressive Panau government's forces with all kinds of entertaining game mechanics. An amusing struggle that ended with a climactic explosion that destroyed Panau's biggest asshole and billions of dollars worth of oil. Awesome. I won't go into Just Cause 3's plot because it's shaped by the same cookie cutter as the first 2 games. Also, it's pretty new, and who wants spoilers? Not this guy. Alright, so how does all of this illuminate the subtle techniques used by developers to make Just Cause a load of fun rather than a heap of controversy? You may recall games such as Grand Theft Auto and Hatred. In case you aren't familiar, Grand Theft Auto has been criticized for damn near a decade for its trivialization of violence, and Hatred made headlines last year, almost being removed from Steam for its unintelligible violence. Like seriously, the amount of controversy surrounding these games is insane for being just, well, games. I see damn near as many Just Cause gifs on Reddit with the elaborate killing of civilians as I do Grand Theft Auto gifs of the same thing. And Hatred was a relatively small time release compared to Just Cause, yet it managed to make headlines on the basis of controversy when Just Cause made not even a whimper. Nothing. Zilch. Nada. JC completely fell under the radar of the bored housewives of Middle America, despite having no less than 3 big-time releases. We can unravel this bizarre riddle with a single word: framing. Where Hatred prides itself on a grisly-voiced psychopath shedding the blood of everyone for no other reason than the lulz, Just Cause molds its identity with a wisecracking good guy killing on his way to overthrow a despised dictator. Where Grand Theft Auto gives a gangster the option to murder innocent civilians, Just Cause gives a hero the option to murder innocent civilians. And this goes deeper than mere heroes committing atrocities rather than darker characters doing the same. Just Cause uses what I like to call the fuck that guy device. What is the fuck that guy device? Well, it's basically a way to justify any act of violence during a story by making the victim so hated and disgusting that anything goes. Allow me to give you an example.
Shoot that for killing Jews? Bravery.
Yeah, fuck that guy. A lot of Quentin Tarantino movies use this actually, and it's nothing less than awesome. Another example is that show 1000 Ways to Die. This was literally nothing except funny ways that people died. Every episode makes sure to build up the person killed as either so stupid that they're polluting the gene pool, or such a dick that we want them to die. Nobody wants to watch a show where sweet old Edith gets obliterated by an industrial scale cheese slicer. They want to see mean guy Blake drink cement after mistaking it for off-color pancake batter. It's just a better show. Now when we look at Just Cause, knowing the power of the fuck that guy device, it's obvious where to find it. The repeated theme of ruthless dictators being overthrown makes the perfect frame for a lighthearted game centered around entertaining ways to kill people, especially because the hatred of the antagonist easily extends to any cronies of his. And sure, murdering innocent civilians is totally acceptable in this game, but it's still in the context of overthrowing a truly horrendous human being, plus the cream of mushroom soup thing. And that chameleon! Kill him, Rico! Kill 'em all! In fact, hating the enemy of a game goes as far as to make violence satisfying. A complex or charming villain certainly justifies violence on some level, but attaching him to a nuke and detonating it over an oil field is at least slightly less hilarious. It's those real pricks that you want to see Rico latch a bomb to, while falling at terminal velocity. Hell, even the environment of the series works towards framing things as nonchalant. Each and every game takes place on a tropical, warm-weather island. It really gives the feeling that we're just messing around in paradise. Could the same atmosphere 3 times in a row really be an accident? Indeed, the heartless acts, which range from taking political control by force to killing everyone in prison to make room for more, are all part of a carefully constructed framework to make those wingsuit sky attacks and grapple gun lulzcapades a lighthearted way to spend your time. Perhaps Avalanche Studios could have experimented with viral marketing by making the antagonist of Just Cause 3 a struggling single father, or making the protagonist a less likable, upstanding guy. But avoiding the wrath of the bored housewife demographic is always advisable. Just Cause having way more thought put into the plot than you ever imagined. That's the story you never knew. And you know what else is the story you never knew? We've started a community chat on Discord where we can talk over crystal clear voice or good old text. Just click the link in the description and bam, we can talk about our feelings, play games together, and get to know you better. We want to hang out with you, so come and introduce yourself. It'll be a jolly good time. Want to learn more about Discord? Just head to discordapp.com and all of your questions will be answered. You'll be glad you did. Toodaloo for now, you beautiful person you.